Good evening. We're going to start this night's meeting. We're going to consider approving the minutes held from the July 13th meeting.
I make a motion to approve those minutes.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you. Discuss a property maintenance ordinance on violations of 8 Smithfield Road will be the next item on the agenda.
Thank you. I've got Bob Ellis, the code enforcement officer here, and Bruce O'Clair, the property owner. So I'm going to hand it over to Bob Ellis and let him take it from here.
Okay. All right. I've been meeting with Bruce O'Clair right here. And I've got photographs of 2015, 2016 that you have in your hands. And it shows, according to the letter that you got from Mike, the attorney, Bernstein Shore, that he was working with us in 2015. Looked like he was making some good headway. And he sort of backflashed. I don't know if he got busy or what happened, but he sort of went backwards for a while. And we got back after him again. And he has, as you can see, the latest photographs were worse than the first one we took the year before. If you were to look at it tonight, after we talked last, you'll see that there's been a marked improvement since the pictures were taken. And he's working at it, and he's trying his best to pick it up, and he's done a pretty good job so far. You've got a period of time in which to complete this cleanup.
I understand that.
And we talked about you putting stuff, feeding the hogs and stuff out behind somewhere.
And it's not gonna happen. I put I'm starting the wall in that tent so that I can close it in.
Yeah,
I can't move that tent right off. I got, I mean, there's a lot of stuff in there. I have all my feed bins in there. I have 1,000 pounds of grain. I have, well, you know what I mean? I can't leave it out in the open.
No,
You don't like it out in the open. I'm trying to put it in for you. I don't know.
We had thought that if you could put some kind of a barrier up in front of it, those things that are offensive out front.
I understand, but I don't have to bury my animals in.
No.
My animals are out front, and I don't have to have a fence to bury
that's
them.
true.
And I'm cleaning up what's got to go. I mean, we talked about what I was going to do,
Yeah.
and you agreed to that. I don't feel that I should have to put a fence up to, you know what I mean, to keep my animals covered. Other people have animals right up the side of the road, fenced back out from the pavement.
We're not trying to cover
I
the
understand
animals,
that.
we're
I'm
just
just
trying to
saying.
get the food emporium.
That's what I'm doing. And I just, if you look right now, tonight, when you go by, there's studs in there. I just metal studded it off.
Yeah.
I gotta sheathe it. I'm going through hell right now, and I'm trying to get things in the forward process to make you happy. I don't know if I'll ever do it, but I'm gonna try.
You know, Bruce, you actually had it at the point last year, so we were happy.
I understand.
You know, and that was great. We're all good with it, and we walked away and going on to other projects, but it just kind of reverted back to where it was. And
I kind of understand what you're saying. I do understand what you're saying, and I am, we've talked about this before. You people don't like it when I come down to the town office and want general assistance, but I try to keep a little bit of something around so that when I need to buy my kids a meal, that I have something there. You know, I know it's junk to you guys, but it's what I have, and I'm not a rich man, and I can't go out and do everything that, and make a building and put stuff in that you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get it behind something, you know, and I'm gonna put a wall between the 2 trailers, and put 2 walls if I have to. And I'm having the dirt bank put up, you know what I mean? I'm trying to cover it as much as I can. I got a 40 by 20 tent that's gonna go where those trucks are leaving. I'm gonna put a 40 by 20 tent there, and I'll try to move all my pigs down there, I wanna get everything down there out of the way.
He went out and talk about money. He went out and he bought himself a whole bunch of 10-foot log panels that he's gonna block off between the 2 trailers in the back side to the right. And he's gonna put a lot of stuff behind there too. And
I got
he
metal
paid
studded.
$15 for all those panels, so that was a hell of a buy.
I bought 140 metal studs and 40 pieces of track for $15.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna build a wall,
Yeah.
you won't, when I get that green tent up there, that big 40-foot tent up, you're not gonna see that down through there anyways that I can see.
Yeah.
Off to the side where my goat pen is and stuff, I don't know what I'm gonna put back in there, I just got rid of my goats. I'm gonna clean up the stuff that's in there, of course, I tried to get a burn permit, wherever Dave is, I tried to get a burn permit yesterday, and they won't give us a burn permit, so I'm hoping like after this rains, definitely this weekend, I'm gonna burn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, take care of a lot, I'm kind of a one-man show. I'm trying to get all my friends that so-called, to say, you know, give me a hand, but nobody ever shows up. So,
Well, I'll keep checking out with you and,
I mean, I understand the letter
Yeah.
says 21 days, obviously I can't do it in 21 days. And I just
You
talked
made
to
good
Gary a few
headway,
minutes
Mike.
ago, and,
you make good headway, and I think we'll talk about it some more, okay?
okay, that's fine with me.
Okay?
Any comments from the council office?
I'd hate to see us find somebody that's trying to clean their yard up, so I think we should table this for a month and see how things look.
I think times are tough for everybody, and I think anything we can do to help you, Bruce, we're here to help.
Well, we have.
With it, yeah, I know that, you know, I'm
Yeah.
just saying, so if you'll work with us, then great. You know, as you can see, the town, we're really trying to spruce it up and do a lot of good things and positive things, and we appreciate your cooperation and your help. You're a good man, and I know.
I understand all that, and I do, and I just, some things don't set right with me, you know what I mean? I've been here 25 years, and I know you guys are trying to make the town great, and that's awesome and stuff. But the people that have been here, why try to push them out for somebody with a $400,000 home on McGraw Pond Road? I mean, I've been here 25 years in that one spot. I took, just like my son said today, I can remember cutting the first tree on that lot. You know, everything there is my sweat, my blood,
Yep, absolutely.
you know, and it's hard.
Yep.
It's hard to
And
be
we're not,
pushed.
we have no intentions of pushing you. You know, we just, there's laws and rules and ordinances and stuff. and we're
I
trying to-
understand.
We're trying to help everybody. So,
I understand.
and you're helping us by coming here tonight and setting your best foot forward, and we appreciate that.
Okay.
Big bunches, you know, seriously.
All right.
Don?
In addition to the cleanup, and I know this is something we've discussed in the past, do we have any potential conflicts with junkyard ordinances, state laws? Because I know one of the questions is, what, you know, we asked this before, and I don't know your property close enough to be able to make a distinction, but when does something become a junkyard where you have to have a permit? What has to be on it? You know, is it unregistered vehicles? Is it so much quantity of stuff? Because I just don't want to see in the future, as we start looking at that, do we have an issue with that? I just want to be proactive, and I don't know the
Yeah,
answer to
just
this.
so I understand here, but, I'm farming, for one, and I have rolls of fence and stuff like that. I may not be using that at the time, but I change my fences, you know what I mean, to make a different pasture here and there. So what might be considered junk to you is about $250 to me if I have to go buy it. You see what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. I got rolls of chain link fence. I don't wanna have to throw that stuff away or get rid of it because people wanna call it junk. It's not junk, it's.
I'm just thinking, we already
It's
have,
gonna come under agricultural is what it's gonna come under.
we have several junkyards in the community that we have to permit.
Right.
And I hate to have them come back to us and say, well, how come we need a permit for what we've got and this particular property doesn't? That's what I'm trying
I
to
understand
avoid,
what
is
you're
that, you know, we treat everybody similarly, and I don't know what the similarities are. That's something that we're gonna be looking at in total for all properties, whether we have good ordinances now or they need to be revised, but the goal is to treat everybody the same. And I don't know what that means.
It's like I have
Well,
piles
we
of.
have 6 junkyards in town right now, and there's certain criteria that makes you a junkyard, and that's all spelled out in the ordinance. And if you're not far enough back or far enough away from an aquifer and various items listed in this thing, then you are emulating a junkyard without a permit, and you're not gonna get a permit because you can't qualify if you don't have the right credentials.
Yeah, I'm more concerned with, you know,
Basic.
what is the actual material that's on a site that makes us say, you gotta have a permit?
Okay,
How do we decide that those 6 had to have permits or not? I don't know. And maybe it's in the ordinance, but I guess we need to have an updated refresher on.
if you'd like, I'll give you a copy of the.
Well, I'd like to sort of have a discussion at some point, have somebody explain it to me.
You wanna have the discussion right now?
No, I'm just saying, in the near future, I think we should be sitting down and reviewing all those things, so we don't see something that we weren't expecting, to, you know, look at our ordinances to make sure that we and I'm not talking about just what we're here for tonight. In
Right.
general, we've had the discussion a couple times, and I think the movement we've made in town to do things, and we're looking at the downtown area, and we're asking them to, you know, how can we make this as good as we can for a lot of reasons. Everybody's valuation is up if everybody's property is up. So as we take care of everything, it's beneficial to everybody. We want to draw in people to come to our community. We want to get businesses here. We have ordinances which do those things. So number one, we got to make sure we abide by those. But I'm looking at, are there things that we need to be mindful of? And I don't know, and that's why I'm saying, a discussion coming up at some point, a committee, something to review the whole process, and I'm not looking at your property, I'm just looking at in general.
Gary Gorman has brought this to my attention and asked that we discuss more, but I think if everybody gets involved to a degree about certain things that may need to be upgraded within the ordinance itself, not just junkyard, but property maintenance. And anything that has to do with my department, and I try to be fair to everybody, and sometimes it doesn't come across that way, but I think that I'm only enforcing what we have in the ordinance, and we try to use common sense about it, but if there are things that could clean up the ordinance and make it fairer for everybody, I think.
So I just asked Gary at some point to, after things settle down next door, and we've got a little breathing space that we, you know, for our benefits, just review what we actually do have.
And I think a committee is the right way to go with that. Put together a committee and all of us look at it. That's right.
I also have like pallets that, I try to make my pig pen out of pallets because if they can see out, they want out. So I screw my pallets together and, I'm saying, you see that.
They're a year old, these two hogs, and they were both over 300 pounds. And you don't want them getting out of there like Tuffy's used to.
She got out yesterday, but she's in. I raced it back up again.
Sounds like a barbecue's in order.
Yeah, soon, I think. I just sent one the other day. I tried to get one. I was gonna send it like 4 weeks ago, and it was January. They booked all the way to January, and Jason's out in Albion. I heard that was the best place. They booked all the way to January. I couldn't get it. Another guy told me he could get it in the next day. He does 100 pigs with a guy, and the guy took it right in. I don't want them that big. Get too big, you can't eat them.
No more questions?
So you're gonna bring it back to where you had it last year?
I'm gonna work on it. Get it there as quick as I can for you. I'm gonna change some things.
What kind of time frame are we looking at, Bruce? Because the thing is, when you say,
Well-
we're gonna get it there as quick as I can.
As long as what doesn't
Every 5
happen,
years,
and
is that
what I discussed with you earlier, if it doesn't, you know, as long as that doesn't happen to me, we're good. I can keep flowing. I think you'll see a big improvement in probably about 3 weeks, you know, by next month for sure.
So give me a date, so we can go up there and take a look at this, and we can feel comfortable.
Let's do it next month. Give me a month. See where I am.
Is that
First
what it
meeting in
comes-
September.
What's that?
First meeting in September.
That's
First
in fact
February.
right before our month from now, right before our meeting.
Okay,
We're
so
discussing our meeting.
we'll do an update, and if you're into compliance, we're good to go, and this is history.
I ain't saying it's gonna be 100%. I'm trying. I just said, give me until the...
85 or 90% or 78% is better than 5%.
I'm gonna call you again, Bob, you're gonna come out and we're gonna discuss what you bought and just make sure that I can get it there and you know what I mean, remember, you know? And I'll say yes, 90% for sure.
I might even bring you with me that day, if you find the time. We'll figure it out.
That way there, I mean, like I said, right now I just got thrown in a job because some kid can't run the job, he got thrown off, I had to go in and take it over and I work in weekends, so I'm gonna try to get out of my boss knows I need to have the time, so if I can get out of the weekends, I'm gonna get away from it. I'm up there at 10 o'clock at night working. I'm still out there, you know what I mean? I get up at 4 in the morning, go to work, come back, I'm out there until 10, 11 o'clock at night. I'm trying, and that didn't happen because somebody else did it, what the change is already, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm only doing, believe me, if I could stay up all night and keep going, I would, but I can't. Killing me as it is.
Okay, so we agree on the 10th of September, which is before our next meeting. You go up again, check. and we'll see better than
And I'm
this.
probably gonna have you come up before that, Bob.
Sure, anytime.
Just to make sure, I don't wanna get something, a pile of something somewhere, and then you say, I can't have that, because I don't wanna move it 3 times.
Bruce, you got a copy of our property maintenance ordinance, correct?
I'm pretty sure, I
Here,
don't.
section 4 is the definition of that. So if you can follow section 4, you're gonna be good to go.
The biggest thing right now is in vehicles up there.
Well, that
I mean, I
crosses the
understand
line into a junkyard.
Right.
And that means you're gonna have a permit if you get over a certain amount of vehicles. And what is it,
Right.
one registered vehicle, unregistered
One-
vehicle?
The difference between the state and the town, the state says if you have over 2 unregistered, uninspected, the town's ordinance is more strict, it says over 1, you're in violation.
So that puts you in violation of the junkyard ordinance.
Right.
And, there's not a lot of.
I had, those trucks are all registered and everything. My son smashed the windshield out of them, and I'm not spending the money to put a windshield in them, they're going.
Okay?
Okay, I mean, it's not, I didn't set them vehicles there, let 'em-
And
you know what I
that's
mean?
precisely what Mr. Borman was talking about, as far as enforcing all of our junkyard ordinances. If we have somebody in violation knowingly, it makes it hard for us to enforce everybody else's.
I understand. Those are gonna be the
Right, so
first
the
things that
10th,
go.
we'll get up there on the 10th and we'll take a look at it.
So you're telling me now I've got 2 unregistered vehicles on my property right now, I gotta get a junkyard permit?
Well, you probably, depending on what your location is, you probably wouldn't be able to get a junkyard permit.
You gotta have 300 feet from each line, you mean?
That's the ordinance. And this is our council.
One unregistered vehicle.
The unregistered vehicle, there's more people who need that to lug wood, to do woodwork, and
And that
plow in the yard.
one that I talked to you about the other day, you told me it was gonna get cleaned up, seems to be getting a little worse, because there's 4 more vehicles down behind the trailer now. So, I'm not gonna, I told you before, I'm not gonna, I don't like that shit, but
There were 3 on South
if the
Beach.
guy lived in town, that'd be one thing, but he don't even live in town, and I don't have no use for him, so.
I understand that,
He
but
can,
there were 3 around by the other day, and now there's 2 out by the road and 1 in the back.
I looked, well, then he hauled them out and since yesterday, because when I went down through there, was 4 on the back.
Well,
Okay, we're gonna move on, because we can
I'll
this horse
put
to
that,
death. If you're in agreement, Bruce, we appreciate your help. Anything I can do, please feel free to
I'm
call.
all set.
Any problems from the council? Good, moving on to the next item. Next one is to discuss the year-end financials and account balance carry forward.
And I have Doug Mathers, the CFO from the town of Oakland here to talk to you about what's going on financially in the town of Oakland. Doug, the floor is yours.
Sure. Yeah, I think so I have a revised list of balance carry forwards with an additional 1,000 because I didn't want to forget that $1,000 for the 150th anniversary because I know it's near and dear to Dana's heart. And that brings the total balances to be carried forward of 364,964, or potential balances to be carried forward that we are recommending.
If you need anything explained over particular figures there, there for you on this.
I think we've seen them all before. You need a motion from us to do that.
That's correct, yeah.
I'd make a motion, we carry forward this 364, 964.
second.
All in favor?
Discussion, question.
Question, John?
Are there anything, or can you go down very quickly and say which of these things we're obligated to right away because it's part of we haven't made the purchase yet, and how many are long range, if there are any that are one or the other?
Well, the voting machines, we're renting machines each year, and we're expending that. A little bit of the employee separation is a long-term thing. Memorials maintenance, we've used money from this reserve periodically to update either the Veterans Memorial or the Fireman's Memorial. Heating oil, we use that as necessary. Jan does. 150th anniversary is a long-term thing. The solid waste is money that was set aside to help people whose wells were impacted by the closed landfill, our old landfill at the transfer station, because we have done a couple. Cruiser will be spent next year. I presume the Huzzy Hill Road will be spent this year, but
That's gonna be spent this year.
yeah, and we carry forward the miscellaneous and paving money to be able to do as much as we can with that. The fire truck will be spent this year. The public works truck is money that's not, well, we're gonna be buying a truck. We've already approved that purchase. And we'll be spending at least some of this money, I forget, and plus we appropriated more in the current year. The Metzlonsky Trail and Memorial Hall, that is for the second section of the Metzlonsky Trail, which is on hold now, so that money is not, there's no specific plans on that. Memorial Hall, there's some work planned there that hasn't been done yet, so I think that, as far as I know, that's relatively short term.
And I guess that was my question, was some of these things that we're gonna be doing within the next couple of months, some of them obviously are long term, but I was just wondering if there are projects that are hanging because we just couldn't get them done, and we'll be having the money expended fairly quickly.
There's a lot of them we're gonna spend real quick, and some of them we're preparing for the future.
Okay.
So motion is made second, all in favor?
And Gary, did they get the sheet here?
You have the sheet, I yeah.
Okay. So, we had probably the best year financially that we've had in my 29 years here. And I kind of go through this, that we had a total of $393,717 of unspent appropriation and excess revenues, and we have a number of years ago decided 25% of that would go to reserve for capital improvement, so it's broken down, 295 for fund equity, 98 for reserve for capital improvement. We've got just under 35,000 for the overlay, which goes into fund equity. So we have a total of 428,000 split among fund equity of 330 and reserve for capital improvements of 98,000. 215 of that's going to be used to fund the current year's budget. And after the budget, there's 213,000, 160 of fund equity, $53,000 of reserve for capital improvements. And Gary and I are recommending that we take 50,000 from each of those to replenish the municipal building reserve. Because obviously we've used 150,000 for this building, and that would replace 100,000 of that 150,000. And that would leave a small increase in reserve capital improvements of about 3,400 and 110,000 going back into fund equity, an increase of 110,000 in fund equity.
And I know Dana and Mike, you guys were interested in increasing fund equity. That's gonna be one of the largest increases we've had for, when's the last time?
A long time. I mean, back in the 90s we had some big increases, but it's been a long time since we've had something like this.
And that also allows us to build up this building fund, because I would like to take the overages of the money that's left over from that building and put back into that account also, so that it prepares us for phase 2 of this project.
Right. Looks like a good plan to me.
Questions? Have to motion on it?
Yeah, motion.
I make a motion, we put this amount back into fund equity and also the reserve capital improvement.
Second.
Bill and seconds, all in favor?
Thank you, man. Good job,
Thank you.
Doug.
I had one question for Doug. Was the most of that increase in the excise tax, Doug?
Well, that, on the revenue side, yes, because we were like somewhere 170,000 or so over budget on there. And, but we, you know, we did very well on the expense side too.
Yeah, I know your expenses were down.
So, I mean, we did really well on both the revenues and the expenses. So that's the one single largest item, yes.
Thank you, John.
You're welcome.
Good job.
Thank you, Doug. I actually have an add-on for that.
Good.
particular-
Sorry, I just.
Yeah,
wanted
no,
to-
it came in after we put the agenda.
Moving on to
Thank you, Doug.
Manager's report.
Manager's report, Oakfest 2016, quick update on that. That was tremendously successful. We're getting reviews back from our vendors, people were satisfied. We had probably the largest crowd I'd ever seen downtown on Friday night for the street dance and the parade. It was a huge parade. A lot of work went into all of it, and I think it really showcased the town of Oakland. Saturday was, everybody knows, was extremely hot and humid. 95 degrees, and it was almost unbearable. Crowds were probably about the same as we had last year. Some vendors didn't do so well. The food vendors were certainly struggling. Nobody felt like eating. Ice cream vendors, shaved ice, those guys cleaned up. Drinks cleaned up. Triathlon, we had about twice the competitors this year that we had last year. I'm really anticipating that to be the biggest part of Oakfest within the next 5 to 6 years, because what makes that so special is you get to paddle instead of swim on a triathlon, and you get to come up with a team of 3, and I think it's going to be hugely successful. The whole idea, as you know, Oakfest to showcase Oakland, what we have, and it allows the people in town to celebrate their town. So it was a win, and we had some tremendous help from a large group of people, and we all appreciate it. Construction updates. What I basically wanted to do with that is do a tour of the police department. Everything's on track. We're probably not going to do the move-in until the first week of September. And the reason for that is the building's going to be ready before the first week of September. We want to make sure that the hot tub's laid and the landscaping and everything's striped out so it's complete. The police department's comfortable where they are. We're fairly comfortable. I guess they could argue that. So we're looking at the first part of September for the move. Maybe a few days early, but I really don't think so. We just want to have this thing seeded, planted, shrubs in, everything done. And we are substantially in the budget. I mean substantial. So it's going to look good, it's going to come in under budget, and I think the taxpayers should be extremely proud of what they're going to get for product. And a building that's going to last 300, 400, 500 years. So,
You can say that because you won't be here.
that's right, I'm gonna go on. Okay, next thing I have on the agenda is you have a letter from Scott in reference to Young Hall. And he would like to re-up his contract for another year. He has made mention in this letter that his prices are not changing. He's not going to be asking an increase, and he's asking that he doesn't receive an increase from us. We all know that his rental of Memorial Hall pays the cost of operation for the Memorial Hall, and it doesn't come out of the taxpayer's pocket because of that. I certainly would like to see this continue on for another year.
Most years, we've asked him to, if we kept our price the same, if he'd keep his the same, so he's up front this year. And
He's
told
letting
us
you know real quick.
So he's caught on,
Yeah,
and there's a lot of people go there.
it's
I don't know how many different students he
He's
has,
got a
but
big
there's a lot
class,
of
big
people go there, it's a good service
Yeah.
to the town.
and it keeps the building healthy.
Yeah,
It's because it's being
keeps it
used.
heated.
Yeah, and there's people in it. So
Do we get a copy of his liability insurance on hand? We should.
We always do that. As soon as we say what you've taken for action, we always get a copy of it.
I'd make a motion, we continue our contract with Scott for the Memorial Hall.
Second. All in favor? Perfect.
Thank you. We have an executive session, but what I would like to do is take a tour of the police department before we do that, come back and do the executive session, go home. Does that work for you?
Works for me.
Okay.